Welcome to week 13 of our course. This week we'll be learning about hearing and visual impairments. So some of the types of hearing impairments, which you can also find in your textbook, include inductive hearing loss, sensual neural hearing loss, mixed hearing loss, and central hearing disorder. So for conductive hearing loss, this is a loss of the sound sensitivity that's produced by the abnormalities in the outer ear or the middle ear. Sensor and neural hearing loss is the loss of sound sensitivity produced by the abnormalities of the inner ear, and then those beyond. And mixed hearing loss is a combination of both conductive and sensorineural. And then finally, central hearing disorder is the difficulty in the reception and interpretation of auditory information in the absence of a hearing loss. Noise levels is one of the ways that they measure hearing loss. And this is just, you can also find this table right in your textbook, but it's just an example of the human perception of the decimal level sounds. So what is typically considered painful for ears, extremely loud, very loud, moderate, or faint. And I just thought that was pretty interesting to consider and take a look at. Learning considerations, and this is your discussion question. And again, you can find even more than just the ones I have right here in your book, but some of the learning considerations. So if you are teaching a class or supporting students in a class, you want to make sure that you're promoting inclusivity throughout your classroom. So just acceptance of students of all kinds. And that's just something we should be doing if we're in education, no matter what. Always trying to be accepting and understanding where someone is coming from. Make sure that if the student has hearing aids or other devices, that they're being used when they're recommended. Sometimes kids forget to do it or they're embarrassed by it. So make sure that you're following their plan and communication with their case manager or parents or whoever it might be to make sure that they're hearing what they need to be hearing. Provide preferential seating, so make sure that they're in a spot where their hearing is enhanced. And then increase visual information. So usually people who have a sensory loss will rely on their other sensories to really help, their other senses to really help them out. So having more visual can kind of help fill in any gaps that they might be missing if they miss hearing or something that's being said. Moving on to visual impairments. This is all right on or in your book, but there's many types of visual impairments. Visual acuity, visual field loss, legally blind, functionally blind, low vision, residual vision, or deafblindness. And I'm not going to go through all of those right now with you, just because you can go ahead and read them right on or in your book. So learning considerations. Sorry, that was my dog. Learning considerations of individuals with visual impairments includes have someone who can help with the Braille transcription if needed. Large print materials and tests. Sometimes they might even be considered blind, but they can see something, but make sure you have the right print as well as the right color contrast. So some of the colors that you use on the whiteboard, check again with the student, with their case manager, their team, make sure you're using the right colors for them. Oral presentations of materials, assisted of technology, which we've learned about a lot in this course, extended time limits as needed just to help them. Small group or individual assessment, preferred seating, and then shorter periods of testing with breaks in between. So someone who has visual impairments, it is a strain on their eyes when they're really trying to read something that's difficult for them to read. So providing more breaks is super helpful for them. And finally, one thing I wanted to go over briefly is your final project, as that's coming right up. So you have a research project on a special education topic of your choice, which you will present, and it'll be a video presentation, just like we did with your midterm. You'll record yourself ahead of time. I'm not looking for a super long presentation on video. I know sometimes it's hard to keep things short, so I'm not going to put a time frame on how long or short that needs to be, but I prefer it be under 5 minutes. But again, if it's over, it's not, you're not going to have anything held against you for that. But for your video, you are going to just be providing a summary of your research project. So some of the big points that you learned from your research paper and some of your takeaways. How can you use what you learned in your future or current career? Your research paper should be 5 to 6 pages, double-spaced, 12-point font with a research page in APA format. Make sure you have citations throughout your paper. And one of your references cannot be your textbook. You can definitely use your textbook, but you need to have other references as well. And your textbook does have a list of references within it. So say you're doing something on visual impairments, you can go to the textbook to get an idea and then go to some of the sources that are right in the textbook to help you with that. Make sure that you have at least 4 references for your paper, and make sure you have citations within the paper. For your topic, it can be on anything really like that we learned about this semester that you want to learn more about, or something else in special education that you're interested in. Please either email me or submit something online by the end of this week on the 2nd, so Saturday, to make sure you get approval ahead of time for your topic. I may have some suggestions back and forth for you, so it's just really important that you get that ahead of time. I think that's about it. I will put the rubric and the information about the final project in our announcements as well. So make sure you go through that. And again, make sure you email me or submit something this week, because that is also, there's no attendance quiz for your attendance check this week. Your attendance for this week will be submitting something to me. All right, as always, please email me if you have any questions. I hope you all have a great week, and I will talk with you all soon. Take care.